Hi, I'm Eric Rodriguez, certified financial planner. Thanks for joining the show today. We are going to be answering a very popular question, and that question is whether $1 million is enough to retire on. This is a very popular question. Matter of fact, it's a loaded question too because it really depends. I get this question all the time from friends and family, from potential clients, even some of my current clients, because $1 million is a nice round number, but the truth of the matter is it really just depends. And so I'm going to give you 5 questions you can ask yourself. And depending on how you answer these questions will immediately determine whether you can retire with $1 million or not. And also, if it doesn't give you clarity, it will at least give you an idea of where you need to focus on, where you need to get a little bit more prescriptive with your own planning. So the first question is, what are your income sources? So if you press a button today, you are now retired. How will you pay your bills? Are you going to be collecting Social Security? Do you have a pension? Do you have any retirement accounts or annuities that you can draw from? Do you have rental real estate where you're receiving passive income? Do you have brokerage accounts? Where exactly are you going to be receiving your income? So take inventory and get an understanding of what's coming in. The second question is, what are your expenses? And so I like to break these up in a couple of different buckets for my clients. So the first bucket is what I call the static bucket. These are your basic commitments that you need to pay, AKA roof over your head expenses. So your rent or mortgage if you still have one, your insurances, property taxes, automobile payments, gas, transportation costs. Those are things that you need. Basic groceries, you need these types of expenses to survive and live. So what does that look like for you? Then the other bucket is what I call your control expenses. These are things that you can control. So entertainment, maybe doing your own shopping, traveling. Those are expenses that you don't technically need to plan for. What we really need to plan for is how are you going to survive? Your basic living expenses. So take inventory there. And what does that number look like? Do you have more income than expenses going out? Are you in a positive situation or do you have negative cash flow coming out? Do you need to make more income? And if that's the case, and that will take you to number 3. Question number 3 is, will you work part-time or will you start earning some type of supplemental income when you retire? What I'm seeing in my practice is people retire, right? They have their 9-to-5 career, and once they retire after 20 or 30 plus years in their job, what they end up doing is they end up following a passion project. So maybe they want to be self-employed and open a business, or maybe they want to continue working in some capacity at their current job, but maybe it's only like 1 or twice a week or something like that. It's very, very minimal, very, very part-time. But the nice thing is you are earning extra income, or they can be earning extra income, which immediately positively impacts your cash flow and your ability to pay your expenses and then some. So if you're not planning to work when you retire and you just want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, I totally get that as well. You just need to be more prescriptive and have a much more stricter cash flow plan and sustainable plan so that you can have a successful experience in retirement. Now, the fourth question, very, very important. How is your money invested? A big misconception that I see with potential clients and even clients that I work with is, I need to be so conservative. As soon as I retire, I need to move all my money to fixed income products like bonds or money markets or T-bills or annuities. I need to have a guarantee. And the reality is, I'm just gonna throw out a number. Let's say you're 60, 65, you retire. Well, what the data tells us is you're gonna live 20 plus years, assuming you're in decent health. You're gonna live 20 to 30 plus years. So would it make sense to put your money in a product where maybe you're getting 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5% guaranteed when inflation's averaging 3? Not really. Maybe you're netting 1% after taxes, maybe even negative after taxes. So we don't want to put all of our eggs in a conservative basket, because what's going to happen is if you end up living too long, which That seems to be the major challenge right now, is people are living a really long time because they're taking care of themselves, they have the right medications, we have a lot of medical advances. So you need to prepare to live a lot longer. And so you need to have the right portfolio. You need to have a more tilt towards stocks versus bonds in your portfolio, because you want to give your assets the opportunity to compound and grow and actually outpace inflation, because what we're paying for groceries now, they're not going to be the same price 20, 30 years from now, maybe even 10 years from now, right? Everything's just getting so much more expensive. So we need to be able to keep up with inflation. The best way to do that is by investing in the market. That being said, you might not have the right risk tolerance to invest in the market. So risk tolerance is basically your ability to ride the ebbs and flows, ups and downs of the market. Not get too high on the highs, not get too low on the lows. It's really just getting an understanding of what's your limit, how much can you take? And then the flip side to that is your risk capacity. Risk capacity is how much can you actually afford to take? Because even though your risk tolerance might be high, you might be able to ride out these crazy roller coasters we have with the markets, but you maybe don't have the risk capacity. Maybe your plan for your specific situation doesn't require you to take that much risk, because if you do, then maybe that could just break your entire plan. So it's really crucial to get an understanding of how your investments are set up. And using a basic statistic, if we look at the S&P 500 over the last 80 plus years, it's roughly averaged 10%. So we want to try to capture those returns. We don't want to put our money in conservative vehicles, because that's just going to erode your portfolio over time. And lastly, another question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of lifestyle do you want in retirement? Are you going to live a lifestyle where you're just going to be frugal, which is totally fine? You're just enjoying your retirement. You have a very minimalist lifestyle. You're not looking to do major travel or give gifts or anything like that. You just want to enjoy retirement. You have your expenses on lock, and you're just not looking to make things complicated. Maybe $1 million could work for you. The flip side is maybe you have an extravagant lifestyle. Maybe you want to buy a dream sports car you've always wanted. Maybe you want to help your kids with a down payment on a home. Maybe you want to give money to your church or charity of your choice. Maybe you want to help pay for your grandkids' education, whether it be college, elementary school, you name it. If you have a more extravagant need for your lifestyle, then potentially $1 million might not be enough. So that's where it really makes sense to go deeper here. What are your goals? One of the things I like to do with clients when they walk in is we want to get an understanding of, hey, what are your short-term goals? What are your midterm goals? What are your long-term goals? How much money do you want to have at the end of your plan? Do you want to give away a lot of money? Do you want to give away money while you're alive? How do you want to spend your money? Do you want to go on trips every year, etc.? And then we can kind of back into the plan and the math and figure out, okay, is this enough or is this not enough, based off the other 4 questions that we asked ourselves. So those 5 questions, again, I'm going to recap them. So what are your income sources? What are your expenses in retirement? Will you work part-time? How is your portfolio invested? And what kind of lifestyle do you want in retirement? So by answering those, hopefully you can determine whether $1 million is enough for you or not. And if it's not, at least maybe you have an area where you can focus on and get some more information on that. And if you want to know how much money you need to actually retire and how you can determine that, I actually created another video that walks you through the process on how you can determine that for yourself and your family moving forward. So feel free to check that out. As always, please like and subscribe this video. Thank you for joining me today, and feel free to drop some comments down below. Talk to you soon.